Hello, Free Spirit Beaders. This is Kristen here with Free Spirit Beading on the Softlex Company channel. I'm here on Mondays at 11 a.m. Thank you so much for joining me today. So today I'm going to talk about our Softlex craft wire, and I'm going to make these little earrings here. Hi, Pamela says hello. Hi, Pamela. Thanks for joining me. We're gonna make these little earrings here. I wanted something, for the season. So I found some black craft wire, some black beads, and these sort of gold, orangey, shimmery dichroic glass beads. The glass beads are artisan made, so they're not something Softlex Company carries, but they are made by an artist called Paula Radke, and you can find them on her website. You can also find some of her stuff on other companies, like I know Fusion Beads had carried some of her stuff at one time, but she's Paula, last name is Radke, R-A-D-K-E, and you can find her at paularadke.com. She has them listed under charms, dichroic glass charms. The one thing I wanted to show you, I did a video, before we get started, I did a video a few weeks back where we used Softlex wire and some marbled beads to create this sort of sculptural design here. And I just wanted to show you a alternative that I did where I used chain at the bottom, pieces of chain that I cut a little bit in a diagonal there, and I strung it on the Softlex Extreme 24K wire. So I just wanted to show you guys that variation, and if you want to go back and see this video, it is on the Softlex Company channel under the Free Spirit Beading with Kristen Fagan section. I believe it was called Modern Necklace with Marbled Beads and Beading Wire. Yeah, so here was the original in the video, and then here was the variation I did with chain and the Softlex gold wire. Pamela says, cute variation. Thanks, Pamela. I tend to have a lot of like little bits of chain laying around, so that was a nice project to use up a big bundle of little bits I had. So I hope everyone's doing great today, and I'm gonna go ahead and switch you down onto my work table so you can see what we're doing today. Hold on just a moment. Sorry for my fingers. Okay, so what I've got here, is my Softlex craft wire in black. This is 20 gauge, and we're going to use this to make ear wires as well as the bottom part where the beads get connected. So there's the craft wire. I'm using 2 Swarovski crystal rondelles. These are approximately 10 millimeters by 6 millimeters in size. And I'm using 2 of these Paula Radke Artisan dichroic charms. And I'm using them in sort of an orangey gold color, but I also have some greens And I also noticed on her website she had some of these long tubes in different colors. And then there's also some small little rectangles too. So today we're going to use the diamonds. And then for tools, I have my nylon jaw pliers. I have a regular chain nose plier, the LoopRite looping plier, my Softflex flush cutters, and a burr cup. I also have a little tape measure with me at my desk, so if you need to, or you can have a ruler so you can know what size. So today we're going to talk a little bit more about this LoopRite plier. This plier is used to easily create round loops from 2 millimeters. You'll see there's a little tiny 2 up there at the top, all the way up to 8 millimeters, and it's marked along the plier to make it easy to create the same size loops. You just simply align your wire with the markings, you're going to twist, and you'll be able to get consistent loop sizes. So let's start with our ear wires first. So for my ear wire, I'm going to cut, well, first I'm going to use my nylon jaw pliers and just straighten out that wire. So we have a nice clean piece of wire to work with. And I'm going to cut approximately 2 inches. I'll just use that. We'll cut 2 of those. And then I'm going to take my LoopRite plier and we're going to make our first loop, excuse me, this little loop here with the 2 millimeter loop size. So if you look at the plier, right here at the tippy top, that first line is your 2 millimeter loop. And the lines go all the way around the tool. So you'll see them on both sides. They just have the numbers on one side, but the line extends all the way to the back side so that you could keep it in a... I like turning to my right, so I'm going to go ahead and line my wire up on the back side where I have my 2 millimeter line right there. So this is the smaller end of the plier. And I'm just going to take my hand and twist the plier until I have a loop. I'm going to open it and just keep it right in there a little bit more. I just want to tighten it closed. You'll see there's a little bit of an opening there. I'm just going to tighten it just one more. And there is my first loop. So that looks like a little P, a little lowercase p. I'm going to do that with my second wire. So again, I'll put it right flush with the pliers on that 2 millimeter loop. Twist around and then loosen it up. Just clamp it, twist it just a little more so it's nice and snug. So there are my two little P's. Now I'm going to stick my plier back in right on the 2 millimeter loop wire again, and I'm just going to take it. See how my wire is twisted and leaning to the right? I just want to kick it back a little bit to straighten it. So I'm going to put it in here, my pliers, squeeze, and then just twist it just back to straighten it out a little bit. Let me straighten it just a little more. And I could use my chain nose pliers to tighten up that loop again. So you see the difference? There's just a slight difference, but on this one it's kicked back just a little bit straighter than this one is. All right, so we have our first two eye pins. And Softlex craft wire, if you've never used it before, this is a copper-based wire. So there is a copper color underneath, and then it has the color on top, and then it's also coated. So it is hypoallergenic for your ears. However, there is a little tiny bit of copper that will show where the wire gets nicked. So there could be a little bit of sensitivity right where the little end is, but when it's actually in your ear, it is hypoallergenic. Okay, so now that we have our little P's, we're going to take these, place the P at the 8mm line, and I'm going to have the opening of the P facing me, and you're just going to help your wire with your finger, twist it back about halfway on that 8mm line, and then you can take it off and you've got that part done. So I'll show you again. You're going to take your P, you're going to put it flush with the 8mm line there. I have my opening facing me, the little opening of the wire facing me, and then I'm just going to use my thumb to guide the wire around the plier, and then I can lift and open. So now I've got two ear wires with straight bottoms, and you could sort of close them a little bit if you want them to be a little bit closer together. And I'm just going to make a little kickback loop at the end of my ear wire. It just gives it a finished look and lets it slide into your ear a little bit easier. So now we're going to place our wire at the 4mm loop, having this part be away from us. So I'm going to place it in like this. So we'll have our loop being away from us. Place it at the 4, just flush with it, and we're just going to give it a little twist back towards you, just a little kickback. And you can make this a little more dramatic if you like that look. So just grab it and kick it back. So now you're going to want to work harden your ear wires a little bit, and what that will do, you can use your nylon jaw pliers and just give them a squeeze up and down all around, and what that will do will just stiffen your wire, compress it down a little bit. Alternatively, you can use a product called a Whack It Down, which is 2 acrylic bases, and you just whack them together. We have that product at softlexcompany.com. I thought I had one actually, but I couldn't find it this morning, so I might need to get another one because it's a fun tool. So I'm just pumping and squeezing. There it is, the wire whacker. Thank you, Softlex Company. Pumping and squeezing all the way around just to work harden. You also alternatively can use a nylon hammer and a rubber block, and since these are kind of small, you can work harden them that way too. Okay, so now that I've got my 2 ear wires, the last tool, yeah, actually, Pamela, I just learned that the other day. I've always had these pliers, never thought that I could use them to work harden. And that was a tip I just learned the other day, and I absolutely love it. It's really, really easy. I was playing with it and it works really well. And it's great for small little projects like this where you don't have a lot to hammer. So the last tool you need when you're working on ear wires is this right here. It's called a burr cup, or a cup burr. You could see it both ways, and it just has a little filing. It's sort of like a little file in there. So you're just gonna put it on the end of your wire and give it twists back and forth. Just like that. Spin it around. And what that does is just files the end where you cut off your wire and makes it not so pointy for when you're putting it into your ears. Okay, so we've got our ear wires. I'm just gonna let's get our beads. So our next step is to have 2 beads, 1 for each earring, and 2 little dichroic dangles. And you can use, you can use what you have on hand. Check out your bead stash, see what you've got. This, like I said, is about 10mm Rondelle. I don't know what size this little guy is. Let me see. Yeah, that's about 10 also. It's about 3/4 of an inch across this way. And these are dichroic glass beads made by Paula Radke, if you missed that earlier. Has anyone thought about their Halloween costumes or anything yet? Or like, do you like to get dressed up? Do you like to just wear something fun for the season but not really get dressed up? That's kind of what I like to do. I don't get dressed up that much, but I like to wear orange and black and kind of enjoy that part of it. So I'm gonna cut 5 inches. Sometimes I've had a costume party and that's fun, but if I don't have a costume party, I don't usually get dressed up. Pamela says she likes the hint of squeezing the ear wires with the nylon gel pliers. I love that. And it's quieter too. Oh my gosh, it's a lot quieter. I actually thought when I started banging I was gonna wake my dogs up, but they seem to sleep through almost anything. So I cut 5 inches of wire, and I'm gonna start by making the top, which I'm gonna do on the 3mm loop right here. And again, I'm gonna turn it to the back side. So that's the 3mm there, where I've got the smaller mandrel, and I've got my wire lined up where 3mm is. And I'm just gonna give it a turn, and you might have to open it and turn it just a smidge more to get it to be tighter. And then I'm just going to take my chain nose pliers and make sure my loop is tight. And actually you can even take your chain nose pliers and go back in and just sort of kick it back to straighten it out. So now I've got a nice eye pin with a 3mm loop at the top. You're going to string your rondelle, and then I'm going to use the 7mm loop. So I'm going to hold on to the bottom of my eye pin, bring my pliers right down to my bead, and then I'm going to use my thumb to guide that wire around the 7. And you want it to connect on the other side, so you're going to want to come all the way around the plier so that your wire goes through. Then you can pull that out. You can see I have my 7mm loop there. I'm just going to grab my chain nose pliers. I'm going to grab the end of the wire that's coming out of the bead, and I'm just going to kick it back and I'll straighten out my loop. Michelle says, we've been inspired by the movie Coco. I think it'd be cool to do a Day of the Dead family. I love that, Michelle. I did the Day of the Dead face paint 2 different years, and it's really fun. And you really just don't even need a whole lot clothing-wise, as long as you get the face going. And then you could put flowers in your hair or get a little, last year I think I picked up like a rose little bobby pin so that I had a big red rose in my hair. So that would be really fun. And you know, I haven't seen Coco yet. I hear it's such a good movie. I have to really, I think this Halloween season I'm gonna have to spend some time and watch it because I hear really good things about it. Okay, so now we've got our wire. Let me take a drink. We're just gonna take our chain nose pliers and open up this loop slightly. Softlex Company says it's wonderful. So you've seen it? Yeah, I hear really good things about it. And you're just gonna slide on your charm or dangle, or whatever you have to put at the bottom. And then use your chain nose pliers to close that wire back up again. Now I'm gonna take my chain nose pliers and I'm gonna grab a hold of this bottom loop like that. I'm actually gonna switch hands. And then I'm gonna take this extra wire and twist it around 1, 2, 3. This is your preference, how many times you want to go around. I think I'll go around 4 times. And I want my tail to end up in the back where my charm is so that I cut it off. I cut off the excess in the back of my earring and not the front. So use your wire cutters. Go ahead and cut off the excess, and then just use your chain nose pliers to tuck that tail in. So now we've got the bottom of our earring, and if you look here, I've currently got both loops going in the same direction and my ear wire in the same direction too, so that won't work because if I connect this, it's going to show up kind of sideways. So what we want to do here is I'm going to hold this bottom loop with my fingers, and on the top loop I'm going to grab it with my chain nose and I'm going to twist it so that now this loop is going this way and this loop is going that way. And then you can open up your ear wire. use your chain nose pliers. You just slightly give it a twist, the little loop at the end, you give it a twist to the left or the right. Slide on your dangle and then twist it back. And there you go. Michelle says, we loved it, you'll have to watch it. I definitely will have to watch it. I think my kids have seen it, or at least one of them has seen it. My younger son has seen it, but we just haven't all watched it as a family yet. But I've heard so many good things. We'll have to do that this year. And that is it. You guys want me to show you the earring one more time on the second one, or do you got it? I think it's so fun to see all the different colors. That dichroic is just so bright and vibrant. They're such an interesting technique. Pamela says, sure. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it one more time. This way you really get it. So we've got 5 inches of craft wire black in 20 gauge. We're gonna start with the Charlene says, I just got here, show again. You got it, Charlene. Okay, so we're gonna start at and Emily says the same. We're gonna start at the 3mm. So I'm gonna show you guys, since you just got here, that this is the LoopRite looping plier, and what it has is markings from 2mm all the way at the tippy top to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8mm for different loops so that you can make consistent wire loops. So I'm taking my Softlex craft wire 20 gauge in black, and I'm gonna start with this right here, the 3mm mark. I'm just gonna turn my plier over. The back side has all the lines as well. It doesn't say the numbers, but the lines come all the way through the back. And I'm just gonna put my wire at just at the tip. It's actually flush with my pliers. And I'm gonna give it a twist. I'm gonna lift up my nose and just twist it a little bit more so it gets nice and tight there. And that's what you have, a little 3mm hole at the end. I'm gonna use my chain nose pliers. Gonna come in on the back of this loop and just tilt it back so that I've got a nice straight eye pin. And then I'm gonna thread on my first bead, which is approximately, what size did I say? 10mm. It's approximately 10mm Rondelle. I'm gonna hold on to my little eye pin at the end. I'm gonna place my loop always opens when you do that. When you do a little kickback, your loop always opens. Well, you can come, if you do find your loop opens, you can take your chain nose plier and just sort of wiggle it, slightly wiggle it down so that it connects to your head pin again. Alternately, you can go in with your round nose plier and give it like another twist, but I sometimes feel like when I do that, my circle gets a little out of whack. So I would just take the little end and give it a little bit of a wiggle so that you can get it closer to your wire. So then you'll slide on your bead. You're gonna hold the eye pin at the bottom. You're gonna pick up your looping pliers, your LoopRite looping pliers, and I'm gonna push that all the way down to so that it's flush with my bead down there, and I'm using the number 7mm. I'm just gonna take my thumb and have it help me move the wire all the way around. You want it to go around the back too, so you wanna use your finger and get it to go all the way around, and then you can pop it off. You'll see it kind of comes out a little bit wonky, just slightly, but we're gonna fix that. You can actually just use your finger to pop those wires together, and then use your chain nose plier to grab the end of the loop, and again, just gonna kind of kick it back, and that helps straighten out your circle there. Now I'm gonna take my chain nose plier again, and I'm just gonna slightly open this loop here so that I can put my charm in. And these are Dichroic Glass Charms by artist Paula Radke. You can find them on her website, paularadke.com. So once my charm is on, I'm gonna grab a hold of my bottom loop with my chain nose pliers. I'm just gonna switch hands. And I'm gonna use my tail, I'm gonna wrap around one. And if you need a little more, if you don't wanna use your fingers, you need a little more oomph, you could grab a second pair of chain nose pliers and just pull that a little tighter. If you don't wanna use your fingers. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm gonna stop my wire towards the back of my earring, because I don't want to cut it and leave a cut in the front. I want to cut it in the back where it can't really be seen. Cut that piece off, and then using my chain nose pliers, you tuck, come in and tuck. Now I'm not using anything on my tools right now to protect my wire, but Softflex Company does have a product called Tool Magic that you, oh, I'm off camera, sorry. Push this in here. That you can dip your tools in, and that would give you like a nylon coating on top of all of your tools and would make it easy so that you don't nick the wire off, the color off the wire at all. Like you guys missed it in the beginning, but Softflex wire is a coated colored copper wire. So there's a copper color underneath here. And there's my charm. Then I'm just gonna go ahead and grab my ear wire and my chain nose plier, give it a little twist. Oh, you know, I missed a step, sorry. Okay, so when you look at my little ear wire, my little dangle here, both of my circles are going in the same direction, and that means that if I tried to connect it to the ear wire, it actually would be facing this way. So I want to turn this. So what I'm going to do is hold my bottom loop, put my chain nose plier on my top loop, and just twist it to the right. So now my top loop is going in this direction and my bottom loop is going in this direction, and I can slide it onto my ear wire and have it laying straight like that. So if you have an issue, Charlene says she has that problem a lot, that she has to turn things. Yeah, I do too. If you have 2 chain nose pliers, that makes it really easy. I didn't use a chain nose plier on my bottom loop this time because I had this little charm here, it was kind of in the way. But if I just had 2 loops, if I was just doing a connector, holding on to one and then grabbing the other loop with another chain nose plier and doing the twist that way, that will help you to kind of even things out a little bit. Charlene says, I love them. Thank you. Thank you. So I also found these are from Paula Radke too. They're like little rectangles, and she has more. Actually, she doesn't have this color, but she has a bunch of other really fun colors on her website, as well as some little rectangles too. Softflex Company says, can you show how to make the ear wire again? I sure can. So let me move these out of the way. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to want to use your nylon jaw pliers. And Charlene says, can you give her website? I really like them. Yeah, she is just at paularadke.com. Her last name is spelled R-A-D-K-E. So you can find them right on there. She's got them under the Dichroic Glass Charms section. So you use your nylon jaw pliers and you're just gonna straighten out your wire, make it nice and clean. And then you're gonna cut approximately 2 inches. And then if you're doing a second one, I would just, well, you would be doing a second one. You would line it back, line it up so that they're as close to the same size as possible. Then I'm going to use my LoopRite looping pliers. I'm going to grab the end of my wire and have it all the way at the top. Is the black, Michelle says I missed the beginning, is the black wire a matte finish? It does have a little bit of a shine to it. It's nothing like super shiny. I don't think it's considered matte or shiny. But you can see on the spool, it does have a little sheen. And I'm using a 20 gauge. And it has a copper core and then the black color and it's coated on top. It is hypoallergenic, but there is a little bit of copper that will show at the tip where you make your cut. But the rest of the wire is, once it's actually in your ear, it is hypoallergenic. That spool has seen, Charlene says that spool has seen better days. Yeah, it sure has. I'm clumsy. I drop things all the time. For some reason, when I'm beading, things just fall. So I'm gonna take my wire and I'm gonna put it flush to the top of my plier, right at the 2 millimeter mark. And I'm gonna give it a twist to the right. So it'll come off like a little P. Charlene says you are not alone. Yeah, it's definitely a hazard with beading, right? Is that things just fly, fly off my table. I actually dropped a whole thing of seed beads the other day. Yeah, those just get vacuumed up because I wasn't about to sit there and figure that out. So now I have my little P's, and again I want to take my pliers right in the middle here with a little tip and just kick it back. Same thing on this one, and just kick it back. You could put a nylon, Emily says you could put a nylon over the vacuum and then put it back in a dish. Wow, I never thought about that. Do you mean like over the hose so that it sort of picks it up? So I'm gonna see it, when I did the little kickback, it does open up slightly. So I'm gonna take my chain nose plier and I'm just gonna wiggle it back into place. Yes, Emily says yes, it picks them up, but they don't get sucked in. Holy smokes, I never thought about that. What a great tip, Emily. Because there are definitely some times where I really do want all those beads. This particular project, I had plenty of seed beads, so I just kind of let it go. But that is a really fun tip. Thank you for that. Okay, once you have your little 2 millimeter rounds, you are gonna place the P at the 8 millimeter line with the open end facing you. So this is the end that's open on this side here on the left. I'm gonna have that facing me. And I'm gonna add that to my wire looping plier just like that, so it's flush with the little 8 line. You'll see how I'm holding it there. And then I'm just going to take my thumb and run it along the back side of the looping plier, about halfway, and then you can slide that off. Do the same thing with your second one. Take the P, open end facing you, line it up with the 8mm line. Use your finger to go back. You can see that one, I went back a little bit. I kind of like that. I'm going to make this one the same. So I got those back just a little bit tighter. Then, with the loops facing away from me, I'm going to come back up to my pliers and put it in, and you can decide on any number you want. I just decided on the 4mm and twist it back. This one got super long. Let me actually trim these a little bit. I'm just going to hold them up together and trim these down a bit. There we go. You could, if you wanted to change the loop on the actual ear wire, you could at this point bend your ear wire going the other way. So now that I cut my ear wires down, I'm just going to place it number 4. I have the loop facing away from me, and you're just going to give it a little twist towards you, and that gives this little end piece here. I have 4, little twist towards me. Next, I'm going to use my nylon jaw pliers to give a bunch of squeezes all the way around. And what this does is this compresses the wire and work hardens it. And alternately, you could use a tool like the Whack It Down, or you could use a hammer and a rubber mallet. But this is a new tip I just learned, and it actually works really well. It's quiet. And I figured I'd share it with you guys since I just learned it. So I'm just kind of pumping and squeezing all the way around to work hard. Emily, I need nylon jaw pliers so badly. You really do. If you work with craft wire at all, they are just an indispensable tool. I use it so much. I actually was just saying today to myself before this video that I think I might need replacement tips soon. I've never replaced them, but they're looking a bit beat up in here. They still get the job done though. Now the last tool I use is called a burr cup, and what this does is you just put it on the end of your ear wire, the part that's going to go into your ear, and you go back and forth, twisting it. You want to kind of get it on a little bit of an angle. And this files down the end so they're not super sharp. And there you go. There are your little ear wires. So I'm going to flip you guys back up. Oh, you're getting a little view of my window. Flip you back up, and I'll show you today I'm wearing the same pair but with triangles. She had some little triangles too that I had in my stash from a while ago. And here are, actually let me take these out and I'll show you the little diamonds. I hope you guys liked today's project. Thank you so much for being here with me. Let me move my hair so you can see them with the... Charlene says, love the color. They would be great for Halloween. Yep, that's exactly what I had in mind when I was thinking about today's project. We're almost there. I'm starting to see it in all the stores, and I even was thinking about my kids' costumes this last week that I haven't even talked to them about it yet. So I had Halloween on the brain. So I hope you guys liked today's project. Come back and see me here on Softflex Company's YouTube channel on Mondays at 11 a.m. I hope you guys have a great week. And if you want, go ahead and subscribe, and then you'll be alerted when I have videos, as well as when Sarah and James and everybody else at Softflex Company, when there's other videos that we have here too. So hope to see you guys again next week. Have a good one. Bye.